Okay, hello everyone. Anthony Rios here, the Healing Shaman, creator of the Rainbow Path and the Sacred Healing Journey on the school platform. I'll put the link in the comments so that you'll have a way to check that out when you're ready. So, right now we're talking about shamanism. What is shamanism? The shaman's journey, etc. I did a previous video about what is shamanism and why modern healers need shamanism in their toolbox. And I want to go on and talk a little bit about the shaman's journey and why it's so important. And it's the integral piece, it's the foundation piece of any shamanic practice is the shaman's journey. And the shaman's journey is a real practice that takes you to the world of spirits. If I remember correctly, I have to go back and look, was first coined by Carlos Castañeda in his early books about a shamanic state of consciousness in a non-ordinary reality place. That non-ordinary reality place is where the spirits are. It's where they live, a world of spirits, okay? So what we want to talk about is some basic information that you'll need before we go into the teachings about how to do the shaman's journey. So, one, the shamanism is probably humanity's oldest spiritual practice. So if you look at any of the literature, if you go to real books and see the literature from the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, you'll see that most anthropologists agree, and then there's been changes along the way, but most of them agree anywhere between 30,000 and 50,000 years, some type of shamanic practice has been around anywhere on the planet, somewhere on the planet for all of these thousands upon thousands of years, right? Siberia, most anthropologists consider to be the home base, right? This is where shamanism has originated. Africa, you find evidence of shamanism in Europe, in Asia, North America, South America, all over the world. Okay. So this is something that you can research on your own. And I really would encourage you to go to a library and look at books on shamanism as opposed to doing a Google search. And you're going to get a million hits if you do a search online. But some of the original work from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s is really, really fascinating around shamanism. And of course, it was a different era, and people spoke differently about what they were seeing, the scientists and the anthropologists. But there's some great information out there. So let's get back to this. Shamanism is an ancient practice used to access spiritual guidance and healing. So that's what you want to know. The shaman's journey is an ancient practice, an ancient method, right? It's nothing new age about shamanism. Let me say that right up front. This is nothing new age about shamanism. This is humanity's oldest spiritual practice, still being used today. And that ought to tell you something. And that is shamanism works. The shaman's journey method works. It works. Okay. So the shaman's journey can provide insight on physical, mental, and spiritual levels. It can help you connect with spiritual guides, spirit teachers, ancestral teachers and guides. Okay. So one, it's a practice. Get that in your head. It's a practice. It's not a religion. There's no dogma attached to the shaman's journey or the practice of shamanism today, the way I teach it. Okay. So we're accessing spiritual guidance and healing. It involves going into an altered state of consciousness using sound, the shaman's drum or the shaman's rattle. Okay. Some people sing. The way I've been trained and the way I practice is with a drum and with a rattle. Okay. So we go into an altered state of consciousness. Some people say it's like a trance, and there's science that backs all of this up, right? We can get more into that later for those of you who need the scientific information. But it's humanity's oldest spiritual practice. There's no dogma. It's not a religion. And we go into an altered state of consciousness to go to a place of spirits in what we call non-ordinary reality. Okay, so that's what we're doing today, right? So we're doing a method that has been around for thousands, 50,000 years. Imagine that. 50,000 years ago, there could have been someone with a drum journeying to the spirit world to get information and guidance and help, just like we're doing today, right? That's pretty interesting. I think it's fascinating, okay? So the shaman's journey can provide insight on physical, mental, and spiritual levels, and I also include emotional work in that, okay? And it can help connect you with your ancestor spirits and spiritual guides. So this is really important piece to think about. So many issues that people are dealing with today are physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. Modern medicine only deals with symptoms. Modern medicine does not deal with the root cause. Traditional healing, alternative healing, and yes, new age movement healing is looking at what's the underlying cause. Why? Why do you have these hurts? Why are you sick? Right? Emotionally sick. Why are you mentally sick? Why are you physically sick? Why are you spiritually sick? These are serious, pressing questions of our modern society. And if you're a healer in today's modern world, there's no neutrality about it. You've got to take you stand your ground. You got to stand your ground as a healer with the methods that you're choosing to use, right? Hopefully, you're doing this with the right intentions, with a good heart, right? You're not doing something for manipulation, because that's not what I teach, right? What I teach is a practice that's built on a foundation of love and compassion and a desire to help, right? So if you have that, then please listen up. If you don't have that, I hope you can get that, because that's what you need to be effective and not fuck people up. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to fuck people up. And that's not what we want to do. Not as healers. No, sir. No, ma'am. That's not what we want to do. People today are really looking for alternatives to Western medicine. They're tired of taking pills. They're tired of putting chemical substances in their body that make them feel worse, right? That only deal with the symptom, right? When I see these things, you see the ads on TV. Oh my God, they're so crazy, right? But you know what's the biggest seller right now in the last 2 years, 3 years? The weight loss stuff, right? Ozempic, Wegovy, and all that stuff. People are shooting up that stuff like crazy, right? Are they losing weight? Yes. Are they maintaining? I don't know about if they're maintaining the weight loss, but people are there's one group that's looking for quick fixes. There's another group who is trying to do things that are healthier. And there's another group who's just given up, right? So somewhere in there, there is a place for you as a healer and the medicine that you bring. Somewhere in all of that is a place for you as a healer and the medicine you bring to help people. What I bring is a shaman's journey. What I bring is traditional curandero methods that are based in love, compassion, intention, integrity, honesty, all of that. Okay. So before I get off of my other soapboxes here, let me get back to this. How do you prepare for the shaman's journey? Well, one, we want to create a sacred space and a safe space. People are looking for safe spaces, right? It's unfortunate that there's tons and tons of healers out there who fucked people over, right? Whether it's been physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, all of that has happened. All of that has happened in the healing spaces, not just in organized religion, but in the healing spaces in the 20th century, now the 21st century. It's well documented, okay? We don't want to do that. And I don't want you to do that, okay? Because it doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. If you're here to inflate your ego, please go somewhere else. Please go somewhere else, okay? So, healing is a divine gift that you bring. Healing is a divine gift that you bring, and someone out there is looking for your medicine, and you have a particular gift of healing that only you can bring, okay? So, using the shaman's journey, you can get insight on how to develop that gift, how to use that gift to its highest potential, okay? To help people with the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects that they're dealing with, all those issues that they're dealing with, all right? So, how do we do this? Well, we create a sacred space, a safe space for the journey to take place. So if you were in my healing space, we would be in a room, we would dim the lights, we would have some candles. People would be blessed with holy smoke, either sage or copal or something, to set our intentions. We would speak our intentions out loud, or we'd write them down. We'd create a safe space. And I would guide people through the journey process, how it works. If I'm drumming for people, I teach them the steps on what to do. Then all I do is drum. Then it's up to you, it's up to that person to follow the instructions and take the journey to see what you get. But the main thing is we're going to create a sacred space, because it's a very important piece of preparing for the shaman's journey. Smudging, right? Set your intention. And then as we set our intention, we're calling in our spiritual guides and helpers before we even hit the drum, right? Before we even start the drum, we're inviting in the spirits because we're letting them know, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to ask for guidance and receive guidance. Okay. So that's part one of getting yourself ready for a shaman's journey, right? It's a journey to non-ordinary reality. It's another place outside of space and time, right? The benefits, physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental healing that can take place, right? And we prepare our sacred space, our safe space, so that we can have a really successful shaman's journey. We'll come back to more on that later in the next video. I thank you very much for watching. The link to the school community is posted in the comments. My name is Anthony Rios, the Healing Shaman, and I just love teaching shamanism and traditional healing methods because I know that they work for people. You have a gift, you have medicine that needs to get out into the world. So follow me on school, join the community, get your free trial at the Rainbow Path, and we'll go from there. See you on the next video. All right. Thank you.